One of the biggest problems I had with this type of material, when I first came across it. Now, when I first came across this material, it was way back in, well, about 2007. Now, I had been on this path a lot earlier than that, right? But, one of my earlier days, I used to read the Seth books, Seth, Jane Roberts. That stuff is way out there. Um, and I had lots of experiences, but it wasn't until around 2007 a friend of mine who's no longer on this plane of existence turned me on to The Secret. Right, so I watched The Secret, but I was watching The Secret from the regular perspective. And if you watch or read The Secret from the regular perspective, most people would have, you figure it's hogwash, right? Because they're talking about this law of attraction, the universe sending things to you, and you see what's his name, Joe Vitale in there, and the others saying you can like order up what you want from the catalog of the universe. But you're sitting there thinking, well, if I have a job, at the time I had a job just like I have a job now, but I had a job saying, well, I'm limited completely by how much money I make, right, at this job. So, you know, there's limits. What I didn't realize, and what they don't tell you in that, they talk about this universe like it's this universe out there that's giving you stuff. And again, that's that same model of the external God, right? The model of the external God that you pray to, right? Prayers of petition to this external God, asking Him to send you stuff or to grant your wishes or whatever, answer your prayers. Well, the whole universe law of attraction thing is like the same, right? It's just the universe. They just changed the terminology. Um, it's not until you realize through Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, that, well, let me continue on chronologically. Then I came across Robert Scheinfeld, and he's got the radical uh, vision of you're in like a matrix, right? You're in like a matrix program. This is all a simulation, and you're creating this all immersive movie, as he calls it, right? And that's kind of hard to swallow. You're like, what? What this guy, what's this guy smoking, right? And his mentor was Arnold Patent. And you read the Arnold Patent material. I got several of his books, and it's interesting stuff. But again, very vague. It's like they dance around certain things, and it wasn't until I got to Neville Goddard where it all boom came together. Right, all these concepts that are out there kind of got tied together. Like Neville Goddard was like the theory of everything, right? Scientists are looking for the one theory to tie everything together. Well, Neville Goddard was my theory of everything. It tied all of this stuff, tied up all the loose ends, and it said, oh, wow, it's in our consciousness. Our consciousness is God. We really are creating everything. So, therefore, everything is possible. Anything is possible, because we literally are creating it. And it's almost like you have to think of it like a parallel universe type of scenario where, you know, uh, person A, person B, person C, we're interacting in these weird ways, but from our own perspective, we're like in our own little parallel universe, and we could be experiencing radically different things from our own perspective, even though it looks like we're all experiencing the same thing. Because in my universe, everybody is me pushed out, working within my story to make my story work out, whereas in theirs everybody is working for them. It's just weird. It's a weird concept, right? It's different, it's radically different, but it's kind of like the only thing that makes sense, right? So I just wanted to say that if your consciousness is creating everything, then of course anything is possible. But again, you kind of have to be open to it. You have to kind of accept it. Now, you don't have to technically, you don't have to believe it. You're still manifesting everything, right? If you're, I mean, you've been manifesting it all along from day one, from the moment you were born, right? But it's almost like an autopilot in a way. When you consciously, when you wake up to the fact that you really are the operant power, then it shifts into, oh wow, I can actually, my consciousness can actually, my thoughts can actually affect these things, right? Can affect my universe around me. That thoughts really do become things. That consciousness does matter. It's not just random. I'm not this little speck. You look at a lot of these things online with the whole, you know, like scientific stuff where people constantly reiterate, and it's your old man reiterating, look how small and insignificant we are. Like you look at the Earth in this universe of space, and look how small we are. It is harping, look how small and insignificant we are. You know, um, wake up to the fact that you're not small and insignificant, and the universe is you. On the flip side, a lot of the science is actually drawing great parallels between the structure of the known universe and neurons, the neural pathways in the human brain. Um, they're strikingly similar when you look at the models, right, and then you look at actual images of brain tissue. So there you have it. So if your consciousness really is creating everything, then anything truly is possible. And just keep the mental diet in order. Keep affirming. Keep imagining the best you can. Imagination really does create reality. Be stubborn. Be um, be delusional with your wishes. Just stick to them and don't give in, you know, like in the Matrix, and take that other pill and go back to sleep. And Neville used to get frustrated with people where he would say, you know, they would put this stuff to practice, prove it to themselves that it really worked. And then as soon as they were a little better off, they'd have a little more money or whatever through using this philosophy, they they turn around and say, "Oh, but it would have happened that way anyway, because it happens so naturally." And then they go right back to sleep and let things go back to autopilot. Um, so it used to frustrate Neville to no end how people had a tendency to do that. And probably it's happened to you. It's happened to me. Happens to lots of people. It's probably happened to Neville at some point in his life. So, yeah, consciousness creates everything. Anything is possible, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Please like and subscribe.